So we're in the final episode of Better Call Saul as we head into the week, which will be next week. And by the way, we're going to do a special video for it, just talking all about the previous seasons, where we're headed and all of that. Those videos should be coming out this weekend, so stay tuned for those. Would we do a watch party next week? Well, we'll see what we do with that. But this was a very intense episode and very heavy. And I enjoyed that we came back and got more of Kim than we've gotten for sure this half of the season. And this is definitely one that's really giving us the vibes that things are really coming to a conclusive end. Everything's wrapping up, and here we are. So before we get into this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that notification bell. We are on the road to 25,000 subscribers. We're about to clock into 24,000. Can we get there before the end of the week? We're less than 600 away. I feel like we can, so make sure you're hitting that for sure. But let's get into this. So pretty much this episode started right off where we left off the previous episode, where Jimmy was going to go into that home and take the stuff he needed to take, even though the other guy told him, let's stop, this is getting out of control, whatever. But before we get into any of all of that, we saw Kim. Kim, we had not really seen where she was after. In the previous episode, we had seen her and Saul have this heart-to-heart that kind of ended not so good, especially as we saw Saul pretty much acting in a very aggressive manner. Although we didn't hear the conversation in the last episode, this time around we do. We see Kim is now in Florida. She's living her life, and she's like sort of more of a mundane life of sorts, you could say. And pretty much when Saul calls her, it's kind of like not so good terms. We see also in the Breaking Bad timeline that they are also doing their divorce papers. So we're going back and forth between this new timeline as well as the Breaking Bad timeline. And so they're doing the divorce papers there, and over here they're on the phone, and pretty much she's just like, you need to turn yourself in. And he kind of loses it at this because he's like, who are you to talk about turning yourself in? He sort of makes her feel guilty for everything they've done together and all of that. And she pretty much just hangs up the phone. We then see Kim travel back to Albuquerque, and it seems that she's going to do things right. She's going to tell Howard's wife everything that happened. She even signed an affidavit to the district attorney explaining everything with Lalo and what they did to Howard, her and Jimmy, and pretty much just trying to see a way to make things right, especially after everything that's happened. It's been 6 years and all, and they are pretty much just trying to figure things out, right? So in the past time, in the Breaking Bad time, when they're doing the divorce papers and all, Saul's pretty much telling her, why didn't she take any of the sandpaper money? He pretty much took all of it, and that kind of explains how he kind of rose up as well as Saul Goodman in the Breaking Bad universe. And she says that she couldn't take any of that money, so it kind of shows the character difference between Kim and also Saul right there. Now we also have a little interaction with Jesse and Kim, which I thought was pretty great to have, especially considering that we are sort of tying these universes a little bit more together, especially in these last final episodes. And pretty much we see the beginning of Breaking Bad happen here with Emilio and Jesse at Saul Goodman's office. So we're there right now with all of that. We then jump into the future timeline. As I said, Kim has now been trying to make things right back in Albuquerque, and Jimmy, he's just been slipping further and further. Now, during this whole robbery thing, burglary that Jimmy is doing at the other guy's office, the other guy is waiting for him by the cab, and then the police show up, but they're just taking like a lunch break and all. The guy gets nervous about all of this and eventually crashes his own cab into another car. This allows Jimmy to be able to escape, but the guy goes to jail, and he calls Jimmy to bail him out because now they're pinning the robbery on him. But of course, since he didn't have anything, that doesn't mean he is going to go to jail, right? So Jimmy calls the guy's mother, and it's pretty much like, hey, we're going to get your guy out and all of this. I'm coming over to help. And it seems that when he's talking about how Albuquerque and the things and all of this work, and you got to have in mind too Jimmy's voice, and he's talking about lawyers and all of this, this makes her remember, hey, this sounds familiar, right? Because her boy actually had been in trouble in Albuquerque before. So what are the odds that maybe she had run into a Saul Goodman commercial, and with her new laptop, she's able to look into these commercials just as Jimmy is going over there to pick her up to get Jeff out of jail. And when he arrives, she pretty much is like, yeah, this is Saul Goodman right here. And she's about to call the police. He unplugs it, and he's like, you're not going to do nothing. And I thought right here Jimmy was about to really go a dark route when he was about to like kill her, I thought. But no, or was he, right? It looked like he was getting close to really intimidating her and close to killing her. However, The thing that saves Carol's character is that she does have a lifeline, so she is able to call the police and tell them Saul Goodman is here and he's threatening me, y'all need to come for him. And she eventually gets the police to come. Jimmy is now on the run, and that's our episode end. And let's just talk about this episode, right? So pretty much I think this was my favorite episode so far. I always say this, right? I'm always like, this is my favorite episode, this is my favorite episode, but this was definitely great. I really enjoyed Kim in this episode. I think she's a tremendous actress in here, and she definitely should be Emmy nominated for this episode alone. I think especially that bus scene and everything, it was just so much heartfelt throughout, and you just know that she is being tormented inside, and it's a clear contrast between her and Saul and their conscience and everything. So I thought that it was really good how that contrast was done so well, where she is trying to atone for all of the sins and everything they've done, whereas Jimmy is just continuing down this path that he just continues to go deeper and deeper into. And I'm just like, I feel like there is no redemption for Jimmy left, right? So I really enjoyed that about that episode, and I'm excited to see where we go in this final episode that we have next week. It looks like the final episode with the preview and everything, that there is a car crash. I believe it should be Jimmy, but I believe last time that we were going to see that instead of the guy going to jail, we were going to see Jimmy. So we're pretty much going to keep it like open about what's happening, right? Because we're not too sure entirely, but I really do think this next episode's going to be like insane, because I did not see Carol being the one taking Jimmy into custody and all of that, and causing the whole like Gene shtick to pretty much crumble down. So like I said, I'm excited for this. I definitely do think that she was able to recognize his voice on the phone when he was talking about the bondsman, the legal terms, Albuquerque, and all of this. I think she started to really piece things together that, yeah, this guy was definitely not the guy he's apparently supposed to be. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this is all going to come to an end. As I said, we got a lot of episodes, videos of Better Call Saul coming out this week. A very special one, and then just recapping the seasons, the show, and all of that, and analysis as well. And then probably on Monday for the finale, maybe we'll do something like a live after show and all of that. So stay tuned for that, because we're just going to discuss everything that happened for sure. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and your opinions on this episode. Are you excited or not for the finale? What do you think is going to happen? Do we see more Breaking Bad characters appear? Like I said, we saw Emilio here, so it's really taking us all the way back. So I'm excited to see how this all ends. But as always, that is going to do it for me. Make sure you're subscribed, notification bell on. We are on the road to 25,000 subscribers, less than 400 away to get to that 24,000 mark. At 25,000, we will do a giveaway. Don't miss out on that. Make sure you follow us on social media, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. We have a podcast dropping tomorrow. And as always, that's going to do it for me. Stay safe, stay positive.